Namaskar and hearty greetings. I am Geeta Harideo, and it's an honor and pleasure to be your program director for today's program. Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Durban, Mr. Sipiwe Mchunu, Mr. Sashil Manor, Ms.Ntombenhle Gumede, Mr. Vijay Jagannath, distinguished guests and online viewers, Namaskar and warm welcome to all of you to the 12th melodious episode of Antartaan, the Inner-Tone. Antartaan is a series of interactions between two artists about the experiences of synchronization of their inner tones or internal rhythms. To tell us about their musical journey, we have in our midst two dynamic and skilled artists, and they being Ms.Ntombenhle Gumede and Mr. Vijay Jagannath. And they will also be performing a jugalbandi or a musical duet. Just a little about our distinguished guests before we actually get to listen to them. Ms. Ntombenhle Gumede is a singer and a musician from the south coast of KwaZulu-Natal. In her spare time, she would indulge herself in music and performing arts, as she found this to be a healing remedy. To sing and to entertain people was her dream, so she decided to pursue this as her business career. In 2014, as an artist, she was given the stage name Uniqua SA after a brand name. In the same year, she made her first music video cameo. Thereafter, she went on to make more music videos. She also received roles in sitcoms on the DSTV channels. She was awarded a certificate of completion at the DNA Academy in a Johannesburg theater. In 2020, she founded Uniqua World of Entertainment. She has been a guest speaker at many distinguished functions. Her leading single, having over 7,000 streams, is a mixture of gospel vocals, soft, sharp, and carefree rhythms. She is currently working on her new album. Coming now to Mr. Vijay Jagannath, who is also a musician. He hails from Durban in KwaZulu-Natal. During his teenage years, learning traditional Indian music was perceived as not fashionable, as teenagers preferred to listen and play Western music. And this, he adds, was due to the introduction of disco style of music. But thanks to the elders of the family who he grew up with, he learned to appreciate traditional festivals together with music, song, and dance. Summer evenings were spent listening to the elder members of the family playing musical instruments and singing. One of his late uncles was instrumental in guiding him to learn to play the tabla and the harmonium. He had no professional training though. Currently, he performs on a freelance basis as an accompanying musician, mostly for religious festivals, and this gives him a lot of joy. He attends functions at the University of KwaZulu-Natal Hindu Temple and other organizations in his suburb whenever they are invited to perform. All this is done on a voluntary basis. And with so much of information about our distinguished artists, let's welcome them now. That is Ms. Ntombenhle Gumede and Mr. Vijay Jagannath, as they share with us their experiences of synchronization of their inner tones. So I think ladies first, so we'll go first with Ms. Ntombenhle Gumede.
So Mr. Vijay, I'd like to know what is inner tone for you and eternal rhythm? Yes.
Okay, the inner tone that we're talking about within myself, that is actually a rhythm that comes out from your body. The inner tone is something not which I believe is taught to you. It comes from within yourself. And that inner tone is invoked, however, by a musical frequency. And that is the tone that actually sparks off the whole process of you performing in the musical field.
Yeah.
And in the same note, what is the inner tone and internal rhythm within yourself? Obviously, everybody's going to have a different view on the inner tone. To our lady guest, please.
Okay, so well, in my perspective, I think inner tone is the way in how you express yourself, the way you say something, the way you deliver the music into other people. Because I believe everyone can sing, but what really is significant is how you do it, how you send the message out and how the public views it and reacts to it. So it's the how for me. And the eternal rhythm is basically that I think it's a gift or talent that everyone has, but how it blossoms out also is very important. Like to be able to be flexible with notes and the music. I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
Yes, you are. I mean, that's your view. And it's a very important point that you need to be able to adapt and be flexible to the musical note itself. So that actually brings out the internal rhythm within you.
Yes.
How do you get in your musical practice or performance, to bring out this tone?
Well, it's not so much of a big issue because I'm always a jolly person. Music is always playing at the back of my mind, And sometimes I can be in a very bad mood, or I'll be going through some experiences, and it's easier for me to just tap into the kind of emotion I'm at and let it drive my performance and turn it into power into creating something beautiful that other people can listen to. And for you?
Oh, for me, I'm not a sad person at all. So sadness does not bring out music in me. Although there are times when you do get emotional, but there is also an emotional note to the music that you perform. And to be a musician and to perform well, you have to be a happy person, because that happiness is going to come out from within you. And obviously, if you are not feeling too good, then your performance is obviously going to be affected in that fashion. So musicians, you'll notice they are always very, very happy persons, and they always bring out this happiness in people that's listening to them.
Through the performance, but sometimes it's not always the kind of beauty in the music they produce or share with people. It's the same thing that's going through inside them, Musicians are almost like arts. Well, they are artists. They're almost like actors, Sometimes you would be, I'm not necessarily saying that only a sad person, or in most cases, sad people produce beautiful music. But I'm saying in my case, personally, I usually bring out the best from the worst scenarios or situations. And sometimes when I deliver that kind of music, it's a way of like removing myself from a bad space and putting myself in a good space with a number of other people, because at the end of the day, we can all smile in the public, but deep down inside, we're all going through something. So beautiful music helps sometimes without even going into detail in terms of what's happening in other people.
It's slightly different in my case. I'm not a lead musician, I'm an accompanying musician. So obviously the performance of the lead musician has a lot to do with those that are accompanying him or her. And it is our function, as the backup and the support musicians to try and flower or glorify that performance for that person, even though they may not be feeling, as we say, not so good on that particular performance. How do you feel and experience this inner tone? How do you feel and experience this?
I definitely feel like I'm in my own world, in my own zone. I feel completely free. That's the moment whereby I just let go and express myself as much as possible in a very, very positive way. And I just feel good vibrations. Not that I'm good or great or anything, but it's that moment when I don't really care whether I'm perfect or I'm doing the right thing or I'm doing mistakes. I'm just, you know, sharing the inner side of me through beautiful sounds.
Oh yes, that is very important, that you've got to share that beautiful sound. And that experience of as you feel, as we call the inner self, that is brought about in the beautiful notes that we actually produce, you know, or the actual beautiful rhythms, in my case, which is a rhythm and the percussion. Sometimes it's the backup with a harmonium and an electronic keyboard. So
Yeah.
that experience, and then obviously, while that is happening, you're also scanning your audience to view their reaction as to how they're receiving that experience of yours. And most of the time that happens with them clapping and rhythmic movement, slight dance in the chairs, whatever it is. And then you find that people tend to start enjoying the performance.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So did you feel that you are also an instrument to feel and experience or evoke this inner tone from within?
Oh, yes. I think as much as the instrument that is there in front of us when we're performing, we are the main instrument to bring about the beauty of that instrument. And thereby, you know, having the audience enjoy that and appreciate the beauty of that instrument. So we are definitely part of that instrument. We know we go together. Your instrument is a very personal part of you. You know, you don't share it with a lot of people. So it's a very personal part of you. And therefore you and your instrument have this coordination, and you have this association that you perform it to its maximum beauty as such.
Absolutely.
Did you feel? Okay, sorry, just continue.
I also feel the same way. I feel like we are very significant instruments because with the actual instruments, they're already fixed. You compile them together and make a nice rhythm to it. But in terms of our instruments, you can even sing the melody in a different way in different times. For example, when you're singing live performances, and you can add your own nice harmonies on top of that because you already know how the rhythm is going. So it's very, very important. And also to have your beat maker or producer understand that you are also an instrument, and therefore they should let you also shine in terms of the beat. Like the music shouldn't clash with your vocals, and the vocals shouldn't clash with the instrument. We need to hear the beauty of both sounds and them coming together, creating something even more beautiful.
Well, this is when you feel that inner tone, you know, as you say, that coordination has to be balanced between your vocal and your instrument, and that obviously is the work of the sound engineer, and he has a very big part to play in actually portraying the beauty of your music. So you can be performing as to the best of your capability, but if that man in between doesn't bring about that beauty of the sound, then obviously, you know, you don't tend to feel so nice. And when there's a very good sound in your performance and you always compliment the sound man, you know, we've had excellent sound, we've had no effort in our performance. So that's a very, very important aspect as well. Did you feel this inner tone gives you a sense of assimilation and absorption into the universal energy which is unlimited and infinite, you know, when we're performing. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. I feel like sometimes the kind of feeling or the message that you're trying to send to people does not originally come from just in you, but also from the universe, because as a whole, as a person, you can't know what everyone is feeling or the kind of mood or what they want to hear. But the connection between yourself and the universe kind of collects everything together, and somehow you have a connection with the rest of the world.
Which is right. And as I said in the beginning, it is a particular frequency in the note. And particular frequency to me is coming from the divine. You know, that particular frequency is the one that really gets your, as they say, your blood flowing to your veins, you know, to perform better. That's why I always believe that that energy is definitely coming. It's a universal energy that's coming from beyond. You know, it's sometimes you'll feel it's out of your control, and how have I managed to perform it to that level? So that energy actually obviously comes through to you. It's a very good point. As much as there's energy coming from your audience, you know, with the clapping, the cheering, and the beating, etc. But that energy that's coming from you don't know where is the one that keeps you going very well.
Yes, it's bouncing back, the reflection of your energy.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah. Did you feel that your performance is not done by you only, but something greater and bigger than you is supporting you as power or energy when you are singing, playing an instrument, singing or playing an instrument?
Most definitely so. That's you'll find you'll do a performance of one particular item, but if you go to another venue, you may not be able to perform at that same level. So it is that energy that probably ignites you at a particular point of time that you know you are able to perform to that degree. And as I say, if you go to another venue, the third venue, you may be able to pick up that energy again. But then you go back and think, but at this second venue, I haven't been able to perform the way I did it in the first time around. So that energy is actually coming, you know, you sparking off that energy. And as we went earlier on, it is your mood that's bringing all that, you know. So if you're in the right frame and you're connecting at the right level, so that energy is going to come for you to perform at that level.
Definitely, yeah. In such a way that sometimes when you perform and you hit your high notes, or when you hit that really touching message, you know, you also just feel yourself in another level. You are out of control almost, but your out of control is so in control because like you're going way beyond in such an incredible way, you know. And that's when you realize that, no, this is not my power. There's someone else or something else greater than me which is giving me the boost to do something so credible.
Absolutely. That boost, as we just said earlier on, is coming from somewhere that we don't know. Yes. But it's there. It's there in us. You know, we don't know where it's coming from, but that boost is actually coming in from there. So, yeah. How do you feel the synchronization of the inner tone with the expectation of the audience of performing or presenting? You know, especially in an organization or in an event.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess you see that through the feedback and how the people are reacting towards you, whether the kind of energy you are giving off, is it the same energy are they receiving? If it is the same, their reactions are going to be exactly what you expect or want them to be, which is like singing along to the song, receiving the message, rejoicing if they are, or feeling good about themselves, or something like that. But you are definitely going to be in the same page, and they'll probably want you to sing another song again. It's just good vibes, you know. But if it doesn't go exactly as the way, then obviously you're going to get bad comments, bad feedback and criticism, you know. So yeah, I believe so much to the people who are actually listening to the song. I can be able to realize, oh no, I did great. We did connect. They did like this. It was correct, you know.
That is a scary bit of a performing artist. Firstly, is the audience reaction. How are they going to react to you? And
Yeah.
obviously, at the beginning of your performance, you are scanning the people towards the reaction. You're trying to read off how they're going to read you.
Yeah,
and as we
definitely.
say, you know, and as the item progresses, then you find that as a rhythm, the rhythm sets in. Then when you find that the audience are starting to enjoy what you are doing, then you also start to enjoy that even better, you know. You know that you've been able to mentally connect with those people, which is very difficult to do because you're not talking to the audience. So you got to do it by vibration for them to connect. So that's a very difficult aspect because you're not talking to them, how am I performing? It is your tone that is actually going to talk to them for them to react to you.
Definitely. Okay, so I think that's about it. I'm not sure.
Okay. Did you feel sometimes a conflict between your inner tone and the outer expectation of performing or presenting? Do you feel sometimes there's a conflict?
Yeah, of course.
Have you ever had an experience where there's a conflict between you and the expectation?
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, this is almost the same as the last question point. So if you do well, you're basically going to get your proper positive vibes and energy and feedback. But if you don't do well, then obviously there's going to be some conflicts. You know, people are going to be upset that you didn't meet their expectations. And that could be probably because you didn't prepare enough, or maybe you're not settled into the mood of giving a particular performance. It could be many things. It could be personal things, you know, and you're not in the right headspace, and so your voice is not going all the way. And the people get very emotional about this because it is an emotional vibrational message. So yeah, you do get that sometimes.
Yeah, that conflict is a dangerous issue as a performing artist.
You've had other artists that have been thrown things at, you know, people throw stuff at people for giving like little or less than what they've expected, you know, and they feel entitled to great performances and great delivery at all times.
Yes, that conflict, as we say, is so dangerous that it can spark off at any time if somebody doesn't appreciate what you're doing. But fortunately, in the field of the way we perform, it's mainly cultural events, religious events, the home functions. So you do get the kind of conflict. You may get a rude comment coming from within the audience, which is not taken very lightly, because obviously the conflict comes because he's not expecting what he wanted to hear. But you have a program to perform with, and if somebody has engaged you to perform, they obviously give you, you know, a set of items to perform. And if there may be particular people within that audience are not happy, then that's where your conflict is going to arrive. And you are actually trying to satisfy the person that engaged you, and here you have a member of the audience there is trying to conflict with you. It's not a very comfortable situation to be in when that happens, because as I say, you can't please everybody within there. You know, there's somebody who will be unhappy with your performance. It's a fact and it's a truth. You know, you're not going to perform every individual. If there's 300 people, you're not going to, maybe 2 people or 5 people that you haven't satisfied. But those 5 people will be so conflicting that it can, you know, it can divert the attention from the good people to those 5 that are causing a conflict.
No.
Okay. What is your goal to achieve internally through your journey of music?
Oh, okay. This is a great one. So, like I said, for me, music was sort of like a key for me to unlock my freedom, no matter the situation, no matter where I am, or and it's a form of celebrating and showing happiness, joy from deep within, and just praising, praise-ship. So sorry, please give me a moment. Yeah, so when something beautiful happens to me, or something great that can help other people, or give some progress or light to other people, I like to share it. So music for me is one of those things where I don't really have to hustle. I just have to use my voice and speak to people, either for awareness, or for healing, or for celebration, or just simply sending a message. So I really want to leave people different from what they were before listening to my music. It could be for different types of reasons, but it's just to let people know that, we are here, and we can assist you in the little ways that we can. It's something, rather than to have something and not use it at all.
Yes, but the main goal obviously is to keep as many of your fans and the prospective audience as happy and satisfied as we can. And the bigger goal is to try and teach more and more of the younger folk, into preserving some sort of live musical performance.
Yeah.
Particularly now, where everything's becoming digitized and electronic, and it's so easy to divert to the electronic and digital mode of music. And people tend to forget that the real deep tone of music comes from the natural instrumentation. And I personally encourage, particularly the younger ones, to learn a proper natural instrument, either it's a guitar, a drum, a violin, or even a penny whistle, for that matter, or even for that matter, a mouth organ, which has a very soothing tone as well. And obviously traditional drums, whichever area, whichever case, like the Japanese drum, the Chinese, the African drum, the Indian, various drums that are available, the Western drums, And I always tell people it's so digitized, it's so electronic now, but always at the back of the mind, try and preserve the real art. That's where the real art and the real rhythm and tone comes from, performing with a natural instrument.
Exactly. Well said. I couldn't say any better.
Every time we listen to not only whichever artists talking about their experiences, their musical journey, and even though as amazing as it sounds, we get to learn so much in the process as well. So thank you so much for all of that. And that was quite an interesting conversation, hearing about your inner tones, and I'm sure we will want to listen to you performing. So we humbly request you now to do a little performance for us. Okay. And I'll leave it up to y'all who's going to go first.
Okay. Is it audible?
Yes, it is. That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Wow. So nice and refreshing.
It is. The instrument itself is very refreshing.
Yeah. What's the name of the instrument?
Yeah, I've just used the santur, you know. I only use the one tone santur.
Sounded
and obviously
beautiful.
the bhajan, what we call the bhajan beat, which is a very nice rhythm for, as we say, to bring about the tone.
Yeah, it was absolutely soulful, beautiful. Yeah. And thank you so much for that. Really, thank you so much. So, ma'am, it's now your turn to give us a little performance.
Okay, I will just do a cover of a beautiful song. And it's going to be an a cappella. It goes something like this. Tula mntwana, tula sana, tula mama uzofika ekuseni. Tula mntwana, tula sana, tula mama uzofika ekuseni. Kukinkanyezi eholelu baba, imkhanyisela indlela eziyekhaya. Kukinkanyezi eholelu baba, imkhanyisela indlela eziyekhaya. Tula mntwana, tula sana, tula mama uzofika ekuseni. Kukinkanyezi eholelu baba, imkhanyisela indlela eziyekhaya. Thank you.
Lovely, very lovely.
Thank you. You have a beautiful voice. Thank you so much for that. And yes, thank you for those beautiful performances. Really beautiful, really soulful and mind-blowing, I must say. So keep up the good work and all the best to you in your musical journey for the future. And as we know that any program, any function is not complete without many people putting it together, and we have to say thanks to them. So it is now my pleasure to introduce Mr. Siphiwe Mchunu. He is also from the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Durban, and he is going to render the vote of thanks. Mr. Siphiwe Mchunu.
Namaskar, Sanibonani, greetings to all of you. On behalf of Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center at the Consulate General of India in Durban, it gives me a great pleasure today to deliver a vote of thanks on episode 12 of the program, Antartaan, meaning the inner tone. Allow me to thank our online special guest, Ms.Ntombenhle Gumede, musician and singer, and also Mr. Vijay Jagannath, musician and singer, for the sterling interaction that they had this evening, and also regarding their performances. You know, it was touching when Vijay was playing that instrument. I don't know what name is it, but it so Vijay was Danyava, the instrument was like touching the inner tone. So thank you, Vijay. To Miss Ntombenhle, Miss Ma'am, thank you very much. The lullaby song that you were singing, you know, it was also touching with your soulful voice, you know. So you were reviving some things inside me. But anyway, that we'll leave it for the next day. So to Vijay and Ntombenhle, thank you very much, Vijay. Danyabat Ntombenhle, siyabonga kakhulu sisi ukuthi ube nathi this evening. To Director of the Swami Vivekananda Cultural Center, Dr. Chaitanya Prakash Yogi, Mr. Sushil Mano, and our Program Director, Ms. Gita Harideyo. Ma'am, thank you very much for conducting such a sterling program this evening. To all of you, Danyavat, and thank you, Siyabonga Gakulu. To all our online participants who took part this evening, I'd like to say thank you for being with us this evening. You are kindly advised to visit and like ICCR in Durban Facebook page for all cultural updates. So to Vijay Ntombenhle, Siyabonga, thank you very much. All of you have a wonderful evening. It was great having you this evening. Namaskar.